There have been some slogans directly against Xi Jinping. But then, mind you, when the 20th Party Congress took place, there was a big banner in Beijing against Xi Jinping, which was taken down. So there are some elements of dissatisfaction in the Chinese public about the manner in which Xi Jinping has centralized all power, and some of his other policies, especially economic redistribution of wealth, which means that the private sector has been put under curbs, which then affects employment opportunities, and then the real estate sector is in serious trouble, which then means that mortgages are very high and things like that. So there is also dissatisfaction with the slowing down of the economy in China. So I think what the Xi Jinping regime would be worried about would be that this should not then get political overtones. At the moment, it doesn't seem to have got those overtones openly. But if they do, then it'll become a wider affair. But then China has the experience of dealing with Hong Kong protests. If you remember, for some time they let this happen, and finally they curbed down, and you no longer have any protests in Hong Kong. And mind you, that was an international agreement that they violated. Here, there is no international aspect to what they're doing. It's purely internal matter. And therefore, they'll suppress it. For the time, they're not using force. The crowds are not very big. There is some uncertainty amongst the crowds whether they should go political or they should confine themselves only to the COVID. I see that many say that they don't really have experience of organizing such a protest, and therefore they are worried whether they can sustain them. So keeping all this in mind, and finally the fact that at the 20th Party Congress, Xi Jinping, in his report to the Congress, said very emphatically that zero COVID policy will continue. So I can't see him backing down, because the manner in which he has centralized power and established his grip over the Chinese system and appointed all his henchmen in the Politburo, he's not going to lose face, because that can then have other repercussions if it is seen that Xi Jinping is recoiling before public opinion. Then this can actually grow in amplitude and in size, this protest, I mean. So I think they will be able to control these protests, though it has come as a big surprise to the rest of the world that there are these protests and there are some political aspects to it.